anybody, I'm Alpacapatrol, and this is Dota 2! Today I'm gonna cast another game of Dota 2, but this time I'm not gonna do the Captain's Draft in the beginning because it is Captain's mode. But we are gonna be watching Cyber Grounds Alpha versus Unity in Diversity. And partly because it was hard to find a game, also partly because this game was starting, also partly because it's got Tiny Wisp, also partly because there's an Undying, and also partly because, you know, oftentimes I do the Captain's mode and I talk bullshit for a while, and I just completely miss out on deciding on what should be the pickups. I will say that Dazzle Bristleback is stupid, and I would never ever want to play against Dazzle Bristleback. We're waiting some time on this brown player, which is the color of his in-game thing, not the color of his skin, which you may believe. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We gotta change from directed camera. You know League of Legends casters cast on directed camera at times? Did you know that? I don't know if it's at all times, but I know that like the casts that I've seen have been in directed camera. It's like, how can you do that? You're gonna miss out on all the important stuff. Well, we have an immediate pause here for our Death Prophet player. Oh no, not our Death Prophet player. Who was their last team? They had the Dazzle. Oh, the OD. Oh god. Okay, there he is. He's ready to go. So let's go ahead and introduce the players. I always like to introduce Radiant first. Okay, we got Galaxy Supernova on the Shadow Demon. Excuse me. Oh my god, he is Support Master. Support Master Prime, look at this. Tango, Clarity, fucking all the wards. And we got Bellucci on the Death Prophet. We got Van Mild on the Crystal Maiden, who has picked up an early smoke. So maybe a quick smoke gank with this Shadow Demon. We have O'Day on the Undying. And Timbersaw is going to be played by Fiend Roxkiss Zenith. Which I don't think he plays for Roxkiss, but maybe he does. I don't know. I'm not really totally familiar with all the players on Roxkiss. But I doubt it. That is this guy. He's actually been pulled to Tango, which is kind of interesting. And he is going into the safe lane. And in this... Oh, here comes a big smoke from this Dire team, but they're not going to find anybody. Yeah, there's like no one here. Maybe they'll find this Timbersaw, but he's still pretty hard to take down at level 1. He's got his Timber Chain, and he's got his Spidey senses tingling. He knows. He knows that he doesn't see any Dire players. So, yeah, his Spidey senses tingled well. He got back to his tier 2 and stayed safe. So anyway, let's introduce the Dire team on the Wisp, who likely bought this smoke. Is going to be played by Nadrastifagajikal. Is going to be playing the Wisp. I'm not going to be saying his character name very often. Jazz the Supermida is going to be playing the Outworld Devourer or the Outhouse Decorator. King Bubut is going to be playing on the Bristly back, and Tony is going to be played by Hart, JYJHY Hart, is going to be playing the Tony. I don't know if I mentioned that. I Am the Legend is going to be playing the Shadow Priest, also known as the Daisley, or the Dazzle. Here, they really want this first blood, and they're going against this Death Prophet here in the middle lane. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. No, they're actually going to reveal themselves. Death Prophet Wisp, not the strongest roaming gank squad. So, I don't know about this. Now, what I do know about is I'm seeing an Undying farming. I really love Undying. I wish he was played more, honestly. He's such a strong hero. A lot of teams, or not a lot of teams, but teams have, in the past, run him solo in the off lane, just because that Tombstone's so strong. And Death Prophet's actually running pretty low on mana here in mid. Pretty quickly, just been spamming her Crypt Swarm to get that CS. Meanwhile, we have down here as the solo versus the solo, the Bristleback and the... looks like a little bit of engagement here. They might actually find this Crystal Maiden. Frostbite's up on the Tony, also known as the Tiny, by the way. Sorry that I'm calling him Tony. What's happening here? Okay, OD's just chilling. And, ooh, this... Look at this. He's got 4 stacks of decay on these peoples. So, yeah, he's got a decay on him. He's got a decay on him. And he's got 2 decays on him. He's at 321 health. So in case you don't know, you're not familiar with the hero, what he does, what Undying does, is he actually... Uh-oh, looks like a little bit of a dive here, and I don't know if he's actually not just looking to CS and Astral here. But anyway, what the... Oh, maybe a Disruption? Does he have Disruption? A little Shadow Poison first. That's interesting. That is very interesting. He's definitely not looking to roam if he's... Well, I guess maybe he is. Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know, man. The Radiant team, they do have a farming Undying. Now, Death Prophet can carry pretty hard, don't get me wrong. But if this goes late enough, this Tiny is going to outcarry the lot of them. Tiny has a lot of early game burst damage, so we'll see if he manages to do well. Timbersaw is destroying this poor Bristleback. 14 and 2 for CS versus the 7 and 0 with the Bristleback, which actually isn't that bad, but you know, considering here's a disruption, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it. No, they do drop another decay. Anyway, so what Undying does as a hero is he does decay. And when he decays, it does damage and it steals 4 strength. And strength is what heroes have for their health, for their vitality. So basically, he can continuously steal health. So see, this Tiny's at 568 health because he's stolen 12 strength from him. So, yeah. Intense, man. Uh-oh, haste on the Shadow Demon. He actually pops a Disruption, but Disruption isn't a stun. Oh, but are they going to be able to get this kill? There's a miss uphill from the Death Prophet, but I think it's going to be enough. And there goes the first blood. And it actually was picked up by the Death Prophet as well. But here in the top lane, there's some more action going on. It looks like the Tombstone was dropped, which does so much damage. But luckily, Dazzle is in there, ready to go and ready to take fools out. Tombstone, especially powerful. It is such a strong ability, and this is why I love Undying, is because Tombstone is such a strong ability, especially early game. I mean, late game not as strong. I mean, you could kind of use it to push a little bit, but you know, it's not a great pushing ability. But you know, by the way, here's an important thing to note. There is a ward here blocking this camp. It's interesting because it doesn't actually block this camp. They could have put it on the magic bush. Looks like a little bit of engagement here. They're doing some damage to Tony. Tony's dead, but it looks like, oh, Undying's taking a bunch of damage. They might try to go on this Dazzle. They might try to go on this Wisp, but Shadow Demon's really low, and Undying comes back in and gets immediately killed by Dazzle's Shadow Wave, which does physical damage. Oh, and this Wisp dive. He did take out the Wisp, but he's gonna die, and it looks like the Shadow Demon might pay for it too. Dazzle's gonna clean up with a triple kill, possibly. Yep, Dazzle gets, well, he gets a double kill, but still, I don't know why that Undying walked back in at such low health. I mean, the Dazzle Shadow Wave is deceptively damaging. Oh, and it looks like Undying is going to try to go here. He is going to get stunned and Avalanche. Yeah, here he goes. Avalanche tossed, and Undying drops the Tombstone, but he does get Poison touched. Dazzle's taking a bunch of damage, and he's going to have to walk back, but I think maybe this Poison... No, the toss is going to get him from the Tony. Tony, tiny, teeny, tiny. Meanwhile, here in this bottom lane, it just looks like a little posturing. And, yeah, that is a 3 for, like, 4 trade, probably? Can't really tell. There's a lot of dying and coming back. Undying has to walk back into the lane. It's the walk of shame. He's walking back. He died and came back and then died again. It's like that lion line. Whoa! Looks like OD is getting real low. And he does actually drop the Astral, which is real cheeky. And it actually is going to stop the Death Prophet from using her Crypt Swarm. Oh, it looks like a bunch of damage up on this Tiny, but I don't think... Oh, wait, no, they Frostbite. Tiny does manage to get off his Avalanche, and the Shallow Grave is going to keep him alive. Even if I don't think he was even in danger of dying there, but the Shallow Grave is definitely going to at least stop the aggression, stop the potential chance for a death. And OD is getting dominated here in mid. Well, not really dominated. It's 23 to 24, but... he is behind the tower, which is surprising against the Death Prophet. I mean, by all intents and purposes, he should win against the Death Prophet. I mean, how much health can she, or mana could she possibly have? Only 312 mana. And that's only 2 Crypt Swarms. Uh-oh, looks like the Courier's in a bad position. But no, they drop the Sanity's Eclipse on 3 heroes. It does a bunch of damage, but it's not enough, and OD goes down. So OD is dead again. Now let's take a look at, no, not hero level. Hero level's pretty interesting, but let's look at the kills, death, assists here. Yeah, 2 kills on the Dazzle. Dazzle 2-0. Carry Dazzle, is it possible? You know, Dendy used to run a Carry Dazzle. Now, let me get back to these goddamn wards. They have this ward here that blocked this camp. They had this ward here for, I guess, the rune, which honestly isn't the best placement for a ward. If I, whoa, looks like in the top lane, looks like Undying taking a bunch of damage. He does decay, which might keep him alive, and he does have a soul rip as well, which I don't think he used there. And these heroes are going to have to back off from that tombstone. See that? 3 heroes with a healer. Uh-oh. Looks like Wisp is in some trouble too. 3 heroes with a healer can't engage into Undying, and he was pretty much solo there for that time. Now, here's the problem with having this Bristleback up against this Timbersaw, and I think the Radiant team knows this, and that's why they sent this aggressive tri-lane, is Bristleback is a strong hero in an offlane, but pretty much because he has the potential to get kills on his own, which is surprising, really, for any offlane hero. Well, not really, but I mean, he does have some serious kill potential from a distance. Against this Timbersaw, he's going to have almost no kill potential. Uh-oh, looks like this Undying is going to go down to these Wisp Balls. Oh, yeah, he does get hit by the Wisp Balls because they pull them back in, and Shadow Demon TP's in, but it's not going to be enough. Yeah. Anyway, so the wards, the reason I was talking about the wards is they seem to be very aggressive wards, yet they don't have a roaming pair, so the aggressiveness of the wards don't really make a whole lot of sense to me. There's also no reason to block this easy camp. I mean, I guess they might have assumed that there was going to be a Crystal Maiden, and it looks like ghosts are popped here on this middle tier 1 tower. I don't know if Death Prophet's going to be able to take it. She might be able to do it. I mean, level 1 ghost isn't that strong. Shadow Demon's sitting here under the Invis rune, and they might try to set something up, but there's really not much you can set up with the disruption. Oh, looks like an avalanche goes off on the Undying, and that's going to be a cooldown on there. Timbersaw does TP in. He is going to hit on this Dazzle, and oh, poor Dazzle melts. And we got to see this Wisp here. He does have a Timber Chain ready to go. He does pop the Timber Chain, but actually, it's not leveled up. He's actually leveled up Whirling Death a lot more. Ooh, he does get tossed by the Tiny, but Tiny does have a Magic Wand, and Magic Wand is OP! He can pull back that Whirling. Oh my goodness, the kills. It looks like, oh, Crystal Maiden diving to try to get that Tony kill, but Tony don't play like that. Tony don't play like that, and this might be a double kill for this Bristleback. If he gets in range to Sticky Icky, oh no, he doesn't actually decide to Sticky Icky. He actually doesn't have enough mana to do so. So yeah, doesn't. But that could have that could have honestly been a total double kill for him. He could have went and dove that Crystal Maiden, but you know, then again, he doesn't have that many points into his Bristleback, which is his, well, no, I wouldn't say his main spell, but it's sort of the titular spell anyway. Yeah, he's got titties. He's got bristly titties. Those are the worst kind of titties, in my opinion. The ones covered in bristles. You should really shave those, ladies. Let's be honest here. I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as bristle. Well, I mean, I've seen a hairy nip before. Okay, that's enough of that really topic conversation. Looks like Death Prophet is moving up to the top lane. She is 2-0, so that is pretty good. She did get, I guess, 2 kills on that OD, who is 0-2. And she did get both of the kills in the gank attempt, so good for her. Now, I said about the Bristleback getting having the kill potential. Timbersaw as well. I mean, Timbersaw is a hero in the off lane that has the potential to get kills. He didn't level up the Timber Chain, and the reason that he didn't is because he was up against the Bristleback, so it makes more sense to level up the Whirling Death. That does hurt him a little bit, because with a low-level Timber Chain, I mean, it is level 3 now, so it's not that big of a deal, but with a low-level Timber Chain, you do less damage with it, and it actually has a shorter range, very much like a Pudge Hook. And Wisp and Tiny, actually the Wisp is only level 4. Oh, here comes a stun. Disruption goes up as well. Here comes a toss, but the damage isn't there enough. And here comes a Shallow Grave as well. Undying is in a bad position. He does Soul Rip to try to heal himself, but it's not going to be enough. He does decay, and the zombies might kill the Wisp, maybe. And it looks like no kills go down except for the Wisp. The Wisp actually does go down to that Undying Tombstone. It is just so darn strong. But here comes an OD coming behind the tower. He might be able to wrap around and get a kill here, but I don't think he's going to be fast enough. Yeah, no, he doesn't. He needs a haste rune if he's going to do that. Oh, but he tosses the Bristleback. Here comes a Bristleback bomb, baby. Sanity's Eclipse doesn't do enough damage because he does not have a lot of mana. Bristleback took a bunch of damage on the back end. Timbersaw picks up the kill, but Timbersaw's taking a bunch of damage as well. And here comes the kills. Dazzle goes down, and so does OD, and that is a 4 for 1. Did they even kill a Radiant? I don't even know. That was a bad trade by that Dire team. They definitely overcommitted on that dive. CG Alpha, what are you doing? Jeez, with the dives. You know, honestly, I want to take a look at the XP graph. Yeah, it is 3,000 in favor of the Radiant team. And when you have a Timbersaw, you don't want an XP deficit. You don't want the Timbersaw to have more levels than you do. Especially if you also have a Tiny. You want that Tiny to have way more levels than the enemy team because he needs to have the power of that Avalanche and Toss. And considering what these heroes have, I don't know. I mean, this Death Prophet's already getting tanky. She already has her point booster. Here comes a Crystal Nova on this Wisp, but the Shallow Grave comes out, and I don't think these supports are going to get her. Oh, Crystal Maiden again tries to die for the kill, but here comes a Toss. Toss does a bunch of damage, but up goes the Tombstone, and Tombstone's going to be doing a lot of damage. Death Prophet has the Ghosts in 3, 2, 1, but she's out of mana, but it doesn't matter. Tony and Dazzle both go down. And on the back end, Timbersaw actually goes down as well. Bristleback's in here, and he is taking a bunch of damage, and he actually does get silenced from something. Oh, he must have got silenced by the Death Prophet. And he's running, and Heroes chasing Bristleback is the favorite pastime of a Bristleback, I have to say. Because look at how much damage they are doing. He's got 5 stacks of
somebody's cooking
of the Quill Spray on that Timbersaw, but it doesn't matter because he did end up dying, and OD is actually not even really going to be able to do anything. Looks like he's going for a Hood, which is interesting. I don't think he should. To say that politely, honestly, with an OD, you kind of can't skimp out on... Well, I'm not saying he's skimping out, really. I'm just saying that really the whole power of an OD in the mid-game is Sanity's Eclipse, and if you don't have enough intelligence to make it powerful, then there's kind of no point to it. Tiny's actually going a little bit too far. He does get silenced by the Death Prophet, and a Demonic Purge on the Dazzle Shallow Graves himself, but that means that the OD is gonna die as well. Tony's up in the front line, but he's taking a bunch of damage too, and the Bristleback is in the wrong position. He is gonna get killed. But it looks like Tiny, he's going to walk back in. He tosses, but doesn't get a kill. And a Crystal Nova cleans up that... Who was that? Dazzle? And this Wisp might... Yeah, he is dead zoned. Yeah, he got killed by that Shadow Poison. And with this level 2 Ghosts, they're probably going to be able to take this tier 2 tower. Maybe. How long do they have the duration on the Ghosts? Oh, actually not that long. So they're probably not going to... Well, they might still be able to take the tower, but they won't have the Ghosts to do it. I'll say that. And this Undying has a lot of things. He does have the fully completed mechanism now, which is great. It's going to make him unkillable, especially with that Flesh Golem. Flesh Golem. And it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a fight here. If they try, yeah, they do actually glyph the tower. So they're going to try to go, but I don't think this is the best idea. Tiny immediately gets silenced. Here comes the Tombstone, and here comes the Tiny taking a bunch of damage. Disruption on the Shadow, or the Outworld Devourer, and the Tiny's taking a bunch of damage. Is he going to go down? He does go down from that Death Prophet, and Sanity Eclipse doesn't do anything because he doesn't have any intel. Yeah, Wisp's trying to do what he can, but he's a little poking and prodding, not much they can do. They're not going to push high ground, but that is a serious success for them. So, good fight yet again for this Radiant team, and it is already 15,000 gold in favor of the Radiant team. I don't want to say the game's over, but with also a 15 or close to 15,000 XP advantage, I don't know what they can do. Honestly, the thing is, the Dyer's team, very much like the Radiant team, are very dependent on levels. In fact, perhaps even more so than farm. I mean, the Bristleback, yes, the Wisp, yes, and honestly, the Wisp is still level 5, which means he does not have Relocate, his main ability. And without Relocate, what are you going to do? Especially at 15 minutes when the whole team is going to be grouped up as 5 and pushing towers, which is what they're doing. They're just grouping up. I mean, the Relocates are not going to be there. You really kind of gotta get that Wisp there. What is this Death Prophet doing? He's standing completely alone. More importantly, what is this Dazzle doing? Here comes a toss. He's tossed back, but there goes the Shallow Grave. It's out, and he looks like he's gonna die from Shadow Poison. Oh, yep, he dies. He does go down. I think he gets killed by the Timbersaw, and it looks like Timbersaw is chasing down this Wisp. He does so much burst damage, so much pure burst damage as well. And Crystal Nova, here goes a Frostbite on this Tiny. Tiny actually does go down, and he does get the kill on the Timbersaw. Shadow Demon taking a bunch of damage, but here comes a Freezing Field on this Bristleback, which actually, you know, him turning his back to that Freezing Field did actually reduce the damage. And these Ghosts should be the end. Yeah, there is a GG well played. Hot damn. That's going to be the end of the game. That's a quick GG, but you know what? This game's over. There's no chance for them to come back at all. There's just no chance, and I think the Dire team knew it. At 15,000 gold, as many levels behind as they were, there's basically no chance to come back. They didn't really even have a late game. I mean, Bristleback carries hard, but he requires a good start, and a 0 and 4 start on Bristleback who's only got a chainmail means that there is just no chance, especially the OD, that's 0 and 5 as well. In fact, their whole team, they only had 7 kills. So, yeah, there was no chance. A 9 and 1 Timbersaw. Timbersaw got rolling. Timbersaw got rolling the way that he needed to. With 9 and 1. And you know what? That burst damage was more than enough to deal with them in 15 minutes. At 15 minutes, Timbersaw's at his height, and if he starts rolling and he gets far enough ahead with level 13, which is the highest level on the Radiant team, the burst damage is just insane. I mean, look, the level 5 IO, he's dead, he's melted. He doesn't have relocate, it didn't work out. There was not much that they could really do. I do like the aggressive tri-lane from the Undying. He didn't do that well, but still, I really like Undying as a hero. I wish we could see him played more. But that has been Dota 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This has been, what are these teams? CG, Alpha, and UID. Like Unity in Donger Juice? Probably, something like that. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This has been Dota 2. Hopefully you guys liked the cast. And hopefully we get to do more. And hopefully I will continue saying the word hopefully. I really hope that, friends. I really, really do. Anyway. Thanks for watching. I love you all, you beautiful, beautiful people. This is Alpacapatrol signing out. Peace, fools.